It's Rob here. How you doing? Um, okay, so we're going to talk about high performing ads, and basically, the thing is, there's really no like one thing or one magic bullet or one trick that all of a sudden just makes an ad take off and get all kind of results. There is it's a systematic and methodical process of testing. So I don't know if you're familiar with the Pareto principle, but there was an Italian economist named Pareto back in the late 1800s, and he discovered that there's kind of a 20%, 80% relationship. So 80% of the land is owned by 20% of the people. 80% of the wealth is controlled by 20% of the people. If you look at a large sales force, 80% of the sales come from 20% of the salesmen. If you look at a business, about 80% of their income will come from 20% of their clients. So what we want to do is we want to look at that 20%, the high impact items, and focus on those. Then if you have time and you want to play with the other things, that's great. But in a Facebook ad, the really big things that are going to have impact in this order are the image, the headlines, and then the first line of the copy. Those would be the things to really focus on. All right, so if we look at a Facebook ad right here, so if your ad isn't performing real well, and how do we know if an ad's performing well? Now remember, the ad's job is to hook them in and get them to the landing page, right? So it's just to get a click on your ad to go to the landing page. The landing page's job is conversion, to make them into a lead. And then it's, the sales process, which converts them into, or nurturing process, however you want to look at it, converts them from a lead into a client. So the ad has to get them to click. So how are we going to measure if an ad's effective? By our click-through rate, our unique link clicks. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. So the first thing to look at is the copy or the image. And the image is your hook, right? This is what's going to stop them in the news feed and make them say, no, what's going on? Then the next thing is going to be the headline. And the headline is the thing that's going to hopefully entice them to read the copy. And then the first line of the copy has to have some kind of benefit to them. It has to either hit a dream, something they really want, or a pain point, a pain that they want to get rid of. And you want to try to hit the most potent ones to get them to read your copy. And so they'll click see more and then read it, and then hopefully click on the link and go to the landing page. All right. So what we want to do is to look at, so then what we want to do is we're going to do a process which is called A/B testing. So we have ad A and ad B. Okay. So ad A everything will be the same, or ad A will be your control ad, let's say, and then ad B is the variation, and they'll be identical except for the image. And the ideal thing is to have 6 predetermined images. Go out and find 6 images, and you don't want 6 images that are similar. You want them that are kind of unique. And it could be colors, sometimes we find that yellow gets a response. It could be just something that's interesting. A lot of times just a smiling face does good, performs well. What you might try is the difference between something that looks like just a amateur, picture taken with a phone, as opposed to a very slick, professional image. So you want to test those things to see which one is going to perform best. So you start with ad A, and then your variation with B on the image. Okay, let it run for about 48 to 72 hours. Then look at it and see which one has the highest click-through rate. Then you take this. So let's say ad A, image A, has the highest click-through rate. So you replace image B with your next image in line. Let that run for 48, 72 hours and look at it. And let's say that image C now is outperforming image A. So we're going to take image A and replace it with image D, right? Let it run for 72 hours. Let's say image C is still performing the best. So now we take D and we replace it with image E and let that run for 72 hours. And let's say C is still performing well. And then, so now we're going to take E, replace it with G, and then let's say at the end of it that C is still the best performing image. So we want to stay with image C. So that is our our best performing image. Then we're going to do the same process with headlines. Everything we're going to add A and add B, and everything's going to be the same, except for now we're going to change the headline. And again, it's best to have like 6 pre-written headlines that you're going to test. Really put some thought into it. And so again, we're just going to do A, B, A, C, and whichever one performs better. So what is a good click-through rate, right? In a Facebook ad, if you're getting a 2% click-through rate, you're doing okay. That's fine. Now remember, you're getting maybe 1,000 impressions a day. So we're talking about 20 clicks. A 2% would be like 20 clicks, 20 people clicking on it. 5% is awesome. So you want to try to get an ad that's performing at least at 2% and then work up to 5%. Now an image can jump you 1 or 2 percentage points. So you get the right image, and you could go from a 2% click-through rate to a 4% click-through rate. And then everything else from there is going to kind of be an incremental advancement. So maybe a new headline might get you a 0.5%, and maybe the first line of copy might give you another 0.5%. So then you go from like a 4 to a 5%, So, and then, okay, so like I say, so the first 3 things is first the image, then the headline, then the first line of copy. If you still want to tinker, then the next things in order of priority would be the ad copy, then the call to action, and then your description. All right, so if we go back to the ad, we can see that here is the ad copy. So this would be, we could try different things in the ad copy. The call to action is go here now. We could change that to like, get your free copy here, or click the link below to get your free copy, something like that. I don't, for some reason, don't have a description in the ad, but the description would kind of fall down in here somewhere. Let's see if we can find an ad that has a description real quick. I'm not finding one right off the bat. So anyway, I'm not finding hardly any ads to begin with. So, but the description falls down, below the headline. So your newsfeed description will be down here. So that'll be the next thing. The other thing you can play with is this button over here. We can change the button. So let's go into our ad manager real quick and take a look at that. Okay. So that was the ad we were looking at, and we can change. So here's the ad. So if we put in let's go ahead and pop in a description right here. So we're going to go, let's see, ultimate lead generation for realtors. All right. And then let's see. And so we should get a preview. We may have to publish it to get the preview here. Let's go ahead and publish. And now the description only appears in the desktop version. Mobile ads don't have descriptions. So let's see if the description shows up here. Not seeing it. It's actually right down here. You can't see it. And then let's go ahead and we can do a preview from here, and let's see if it shows up in our preview. So we go here, and we're going to a preview in desktop newsfeed, and let's see what comes up. And where is the ad? Here it is. Still not seeing the description. I don't know why it's not showing up, but it should be down in here. And Facebook's getting a little funky on us, which it does sometimes. No big deal. But that's where your description would be down here. Okay. So let's go back to our ads manager. And if we want to change the button, right here. Here's where we change the call to action. Now you're limited. Facebook just gives you these to choose from. So maybe like contact us. If you're going for a free consultation, maybe contact us or book now or apply now might be applicable. If you're going to give something away, it could be learn more. Shop now, sign up could be possible. Subscribe, but so these are your down. download, or you can just say, look, you can even try it without a button at all and say, I don't want any button. And there we are, the button is gone. So that's where you change the button. So let's just, so the ad, so these are the things that we want to change on the ad. Okay, test. Now we're going to do the same thing with the ad set. Focus on your ad first and get a, pick your best ad, and then focus on your ad set next. Now here's a rule: one ad per ad set. So what do I mean by that? So let's go back to Ads Manager. Okay, we're going to close this, and then let's go back to our ad set. So we have this ad set, which in this case is for realtors, over 25 that are, both male and female. And so then if we're going to test, so let's say this will be our A test, then what we would do is we would create a whole new ad set. We actually could just duplicate this one. Original campaign is fine. Create test to compare a new ad set. I wouldn't do that. This is something new Facebook's trying. Just do it on your own, because not that they don't want you to be successful, but sometimes they're oriented towards what's going to make them the most money, not necessarily what's going to make you the most money. So it's better if you just do it manually. Okay, so we're original campaign. And everything looks fine, one copy, and let's go duplicate. And what we should see then, after it's done, we have our copy, and then if we go into, and let's just call this, I'll call this O2, and then actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it up front. We're going to go O2 here, and then let's do this. We can go ahead and publish if we want. Let's close this down, and then I'm going to change this then to come on Facebook, 201, right? Okay. So then this will be our control, and this will be our test. And so if we're going to change it, we're just going to test the images. This was the one we just copied, and it should have, let me get rid of that check mark there. So it should have an ad already in it. So it's the same ad, image 01. Okay, so here's where we would change. Let's get our second image, and then we're gonna go in and we will edit it, right? And we will put in our new image. And then we'll change this to image 02, and then let's see, down here I'll tell us change image, and let's see what we got in our hopper, and let's see, here's kind of a silly one, and we'll just pop that one in, and it's just actually my wife down in the Mardi Gras warehouse in New Orleans with some of the float paraphernalia, costumes and whatnot. And we'll go ahead and publish that. So now we have our image, 2 and image 1. And then we will test and see which one's going to respond better. Now, when we say we're looking at the click-through rate, here's what we're going to look at. You can go back, and you can do this in your ad set. You don't have to do this at the ad level. You can do it at the ad set. And here's giving us our matrix, the things that we are quantifying and watching. So last significant edit, that's not necessarily important. So I'm going to clean this up here in just a minute. Cost per results. Okay, I don't see. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into here and we're going to do a customized column. And so the thing that we're really looking at, well, first let's take a look. Let's see, we don't necessarily care. Delivery tells us whether it's active, in review, in draft, not approved. So we want to keep delivery. Ad set name's fine. Bid strategy, not necessarily worried about. Budget, that's fine. Last significant edit. Results, and then reach, that's fine. Impressions, cost per result, amount spent, may or may not care about that. Your end date, schedule. Relevance score is important because the higher your relevance score, it's on a scale of 1 to 10, means they find your ad, your image, is very relevant to the copy in your ad, and they tend to give it a higher preference in showing. So now what we want to add, the thing that we want to look at, so here's clicks all, cost per click, click through rate all. Those can skew our results. The thing that we really want to look at is unique links, unique link clicks. Okay, so here we have link clicks, but the one we want is unique, so we're just going to click that. And what this means is, if somebody clicks on your ad, it will give you that, tell you how many people click on that ad. And unique means it's not going to count the same person. So if somebody clicks on your ad twice, they will only count as one click. So that's kind of what we want to know. Who's getting, which ad's getting the most unique links, and right there. And if we want to change the position of where it comes, then what we can do is we can go back here to custom. Look at our custom columns, and then we just go here and we just move it up, say like right there. And then we can apply that, and it should move it up right here. Unique links, clicks. All right. So this is the thing that we're looking at. This is what we're going to monitor, tell us if the ad, which ad is performing the best. Now the next thing to remember, let me go ahead and publish this and get rid of that. The next thing to remember is the dates that you started this. All right. So let's say that we started the new ad run, let's say on the 4th, and we're going to wait 72 hours. So we want to, and so on the 6th is where we want to do our comparison, right? The 4th through the 6th. And then that'll tell us, because if we don't, if say that 01 has been running, it's the winner and it's won 3 times in a row, so it's been running for 9 days or something, and the variation has only been running 3 days. Well, naturally, one's going to have more clicks. So we want to make sure that we're only looking at that time frame, when they both were running, and that we're not picking up previous clicks. I hope that makes sense. Don't know how else to explain it. Okay, so I got to pick up the energy. Right, this is getting dragging. So let's go on. Okay. So the ad set. So the things we want to check in the ad set is maybe we do. Okay, let me back up real quick here. So now we got our winning ad, and we want the same ad in each ad set because we said this is our winning ad. So we don't need to test the ad anymore. Now we want to test the demographic data in our ad set. So we have the duplicate ad in both of these. And so what we're going to test is like, maybe ad set 1 will be both female and male, and then ad set 2 will just be male. And let's say, female, male perform best. So then we're going to take the male and we'll change it to female. All right. And we'll compare how just a female audience only compares to female, male. Let's say the female audience does better. So now we're going to make both ad sets female because we decided that demographic performs the best. Now we have mobile and desktop. All right. So then maybe we have, ad set 1 is showing both mobile and desktop feeds. And then ad set 2 is mobile only. And let's say that, the mobile performs better than mobile and desktop. So then what we're doing is we're going to add to the control, and we'll change it to desktop so that we're comparing desktop only to mobile only. And so let's say desktop performs better than mobile. So then we're just going to make both ad sets mobile, and then the next thing we would check is age. Now, okay, so this is if you don't have a very specific demographic that you're shooting for, as far as like a type of audience. Pardon me as I take a drink of coffee. So what I mean like that is like if you if your product could basically be for anyone, or your service could basically be for anyone, right? Then you're not too concerned about their different varying demographics, okay? But if they if I'm going to try to recruit realtors for a lead generation product, then realtor is going to be a very important demographic. All right, so I want to make sure that I have under demographics for job title realtor. What I may do though is start testing like different job titles, like realtor versus realtor broker, things like that. But in that case, because realtor is that audience is so defined for a specific profession, I would test that first, and then I would try these other things. But I think in the case of a trial attorney, that's not so much the case, right? Unless you have done enough cases and you can see a real distinct pattern that it's like, women between 30 and 50 who work at Walmart, right? Then you might want to test some of those demographics out first. But otherwise, if there's nothing down here in the demographics, the interests, the behaviors that stands out, then go with this. All right. So that is basically the testing the ad sets in the ads. And we're going to talk about the 3x3 launch, but I'm going to do that in a different video because this one's already running kind of long. So that's it. I'll catch you in the next video where we talk about 3x3. Super. Go crush it.